Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking the code on what is, for pretty much any founder, one of the most nerve-wracking documents out there, the pitch deck. And we're not just guessing here. We're going to look at the hard data behind what actually gets a company funded.
So here's the question that probably keeps you up at night, right? Is a winning pitch deck pure art, or is it a science? Should you lean into amazing storytelling, or do you need to lead with cold, hard data? Well, here's the thing. You don't actually have to choose. The real magic is making them work together.
Let's start with maybe the most important number in this entire explainer, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. According to all the data, that is the average time a VC spends looking at a pre-seed deck. That's your entire window. In that time, you either grab their attention or you're gone. Every single slide has to earn its keep.
So how do you make every single one of those seconds count? Well, the amazing part is you don't have to guess. The data from thousands of successful decks, the ones that got the check, it reveals a pretty clear formula. Think of this science not as a box that restricts you, but as the perfect canvas for you to paint your unique story.
Now, if you look at the big picture, you'll see some small differences between funding stages. VCs actually give pre-seed decks a little more time, probably because they need to wrap their heads around a brand new idea. But the key thing to see here is that the core DNA of a winning deck, that fundamental structure, is basically identical. And that's the structure we're about to walk through.
All right, let's dive into part one. The first few slides of your deck, they're not about financials or crazy charts. They're all about hooking the investor with a powerful, super clear story. These are your foundational slides.
You've got to start strong. Your very first slide needs to be your company purpose, and it has to be boiled down to one single, memorable sentence. What is the ultimate goal here? You've got about 30 seconds on this slide. You have to grab them, and you have to do it immediately.
Next up, the problem. You know, the biggest mistake founders make here, and I mean the biggest, is listing a whole bunch of different issues. The successful decks? They do the exact opposite. They focus on one single core problem, and they explain it in simple, relatable language. And please, please avoid industry jargon.
And right on its heels, you have the solution. This slide should perfectly mirror the problem you just laid out. But listen, this isn't the place for product screenshots just yet. This is all about your approach. What's the clever, the unique, the strategic way you're going after this thing?
Now, here's a slide that can be a total secret weapon. The Why Now slide. This one isn't always mandatory, but man, it is so powerful if there's a real shift happening in the market. A new technology, a regulatory change, a huge cultural trend that makes your solution not just a nice idea, but an urgent one.
Okay, so you've hooked them with a compelling story. Fantastic. But a great story isn't enough, right? Now you have to prove it. This next section is all about the hard evidence that turns your incredible idea into an undeniable reality.
Okay, it's time to show, not just tell. Your product section is absolutely crucial. The data shows VCs spend almost 80 seconds here at the pre-seed stage. They are really digging in to see what you've built. So use clean screenshots, slick mock-ups, or even a short video to make it feel totally real.
A great product is one thing, but can it become a massive business? That is the question your market size slide absolutely has to answer. You got to show the data, usually using TAM, SAM, and SOM. That's your total addressable market, your serviceable addressable market, and the serviceable obtainable market you're tackling first. This is all about proving you're chasing something huge.
Okay, lean in for this one, because this is a really big trend. Investors are spending way more time scrutinizing the competition than they used to. This means you cannot just ignore your rivals. You need an honest look at the landscape and a crystal clear explanation of what makes you different and better.
All right, this is the final stretch. We've got the story, we've got the proof. Now for the final act. This is where you prove that your great idea is also a great investment. This is where we talk business.
So let me ask you this. Of all the slides we've talked about, the problem, the product, the team, which one do you think VCs stare at the longest? Where do they really lean in and try to figure out if this is a real opportunity?
Well, the data gives us a super clear, undeniable answer. Take a look. The business model, a whopping 83 seconds on average. That's more time than they spend on your product, more than the competition, more than any other section. This is where they decide if you actually have a business.
So what are they looking for in those 83 seconds? It's pretty simple. Clarity and believability. They need to see a simple, repeatable plan for how you make money. Gone are the days of, we'll figure out monetization later. Nope. Today, even the earliest stage startups need a clear plan.
Of course, at this stage, an investment is always a bet on the people. Your team slide is the fourth most viewed for a reason. But here's the pro tip from successful decks. Don't just list a bunch of impressive logos. Frame each person's bio to show why their specific experience makes them the perfect person to solve this specific problem. This slide answers the big question, is anybody actually using this? You have to show momentum. Whether it's signed letters of intent, amazing user feedback, or just a fast-growing waitlist, you need proof you're moving. And trust me, the data shows that a weak traction slide gets picked apart. And finally, the call to action, the ask. Don't be vague here, be direct. A single, clear slide that states exactly how much you're raising and what key milestones that money will help you hit. You're not just asking for cash, you're showing them the future they can help you build.
Okay, before we wrap, here are 4 super quick wins for that final polish. 1. Label every slide so investors always know where they are. 2. Ditch the table of contents. Seriously, none of the winning decks have one. 3. Keep your text short and sweet, under 50 words per slide. And 4. Nail your one-sentence elevator pitch before you even start making the deck.
So when we circle all the way back to that first question, art versus science, the big takeaway is this. The science isn't the enemy of the art. The data-backed structure we just walked through, that's your canvas. It's the framework that gives your story focus and makes it believable.
But a canvas is just a blank space, right? It's waiting for the artist. And that's you. What makes a deck a true masterpiece is the story that only you can tell. Remember, the science gets you in the door. The art gets you the investment. So how are you going to tell your story?